You're on.
Hey everybody, it's Dave with DII. Thanks for tuning in today. Me and Daniel are going to be sharing some fun concepts with you today. We're going to be talking about tuning yourself to the handpan. And so hope you enjoy it. Daniel's been studying this kind of thing for a while now, probably more than a year. I think you've talked to me about this stuff for more than a year
I think
now.
it's been like a couple years going on, and last year was really crazy. I think I talked about it last handpan class a little bit. So
Yeah, so specifically, he read this book by Christine Stevens called The Four Principles of...
no, actually, it's music medicine.
Music medicine, okay.
Music medicine, yes.
All right, and within that
Yes,
is the four
it is
principles
four
of music. And so, I'm going to pretty much hand it over to Daniel. Before I do that, real quick, if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, click the little red subscribe button down there below the screen. It'd be great to have you as a subscriber. Also, visit our website if you're interested in our handpans and other instruments and accessories that we sell, davesislandinstruments.com. Send us an email if you have any questions, or so you can go to our website and hit the little chat bot, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. All right, so Daniel, with no further ado, let's get into this. So what inspired you, first of all, to kind of like get into reading that book about the four principles of music, and like then what motivated you after that to like make it your own, really? Like,
honestly, like it's kind of funny. This story is like a little bit crazy because it actually starts with Dave's Island Instruments. I had a customer there today, and he asked me the story, and I was like, oh my god, it's just so many like circumstances, and I think one of the things that it is like my thirst or my passion for music, which started with the ukulele. And then coming here to Dave's Island, I was just like, wow. And then like how we connected and all that other stuff, it just kind of went into that. But then I think when I started doing music lessons, like ukulele, because Dave was like, yeah, you can do some ukulele lessons. And I'm like, dude, I've only been playing for a few years. Like, what am I able going to teach people,
Yeah.
And that's where that question came up, is what am I going to teach people? And I was always wondering, as I started teaching ukulele and then it became the handpan, I always wondered what we were teaching. And then in the last couple of years, I knew, I think everybody knows. I don't know if, like, there's a healing quality to sound.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
Yeah.
When we're stressed, we listen to music. When we're sad, there's all these things about music, but I'm not sure if it's really been studied in a physical way, because I think it has physical properties where you can heal. You're hearing a lot about it, like sound baths, how sound heals, stuff like that. And actually, in the book Music Medicine, or with Christine Stevens, it showed me exactly what I should be teaching, and that's what we're going to be sharing with you guys today, is the four principles. And what we're talking about is tuning yourself with a handpan for wellness and self-care, because what I found is, as I started to learn the handpan, there's just something about the sound that it touches people.
Yeah.
And what I found is that it's the music that everybody has in them. It's kind of crazy. So
On that point,
Yeah.
Can I just interject real quick?
Yes.
All right. So a lot of you out there have already gotten a handpan, and sometimes you're kind of exploring ideas and what to do with it next. A lot of you out there also haven't actually played a handpan yet, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about just real quick.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna check these comments.
on Thursday night. Oh, by the way, if you have any comments or questions, feel free to put them in the comment section, and we will do our best to answer those or address those.
Divas in San Diego.
All right, yeah.
She's every Saturday.
Yeah,
Wow,
thank you
she's
so
awesome.
much for logging in again. All right, so on Thursday night I did a little performance at an art gallery exhibit for the high school over here, and it was worked out really great. I showed up with 3 of our rental handpans and 1 handpan for myself, and as people were looking at the art exhibit, they would just wander over because they heard me playing. And I said, you want to play? And they say, sure. And so next thing you know, I was kind of teaching them some basics. And it was really fun because pretty much the entire art exhibit, and when it was all said and done, like at the end of people would come up and say, that was so nice. That was so relaxing. It made me feel so comfortable and everything like that. And people would just, after a while, they just walked up and would play. They weren't feeling inhibited. They noticed that it was like a safe space that they could go and kind of explore a little bit.
Yeah.
But overall, I guess what I was getting at is people ended up relaxing and just enjoying the experience of listening to the handpan and also playing the handpan for themselves. and they had never touched one before. So a lot of them were, still struggling with the touch and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But again, in that moment, they were tuning themselves to the handpan, right?
Exactly.
And not only were they getting the wellness and the health benefits, but also the whole room was, ultimately.
Yes.
So anyway, I just wanted to throw that in.
Yeah, actually, I love what you said, because I was just reading. I'm like, if you read books, usually you want to read them more than once if you want to get the information. And last year I read Music Medicine, and I'm going back on it, and they did talk about that. It's so crazy, because there's a healing that there's two types of healing. One, you heal yourself, and you take that energy and you heal other people by playing music. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm going to share with you guys today. And the first thing I want you guys to do, especially those of you that have rentals or have handpans out there, as we're talking, okay, I just want you to do this. I want you to count 1, 2, 3, 4. And everybody's going to have their own pace. Okay, and what you're going to do is just take whatever your favorite finger is on your hand, and just go 1, 2, 3, and 4. The first one you want to do, you want to listen to the sound. I did that kind of fast. Let it drop. 2, 3, and then 4. As I'm talking, so you just want to go 1, 2, 3, and you can speed it up if you want to, but just keep that pace and listen to me and Dave as we talk. So ready?
All right, so play and listen.
Play and listen.
Okay, yeah.
No, it's gonna be amazing, and I'll share with you at the end. So if you guys can keep it up, just sit there and relax, listen to us, and play. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe focus, and I'll tell you why this is very important in a minute. Okay? So all right. So cool. So tune yourself to the handpan wellness and self-care, and this is awesome because. If you've ever bought a handpan from Dave's Island, you probably talked to me. and it's after the last 2 years of selling handpan, there has been a change with everything that's happening in the world right now. There's craziness going on, and people are feeling the stress. It's like, and they're looking for outlets. I just had a gentleman today, Cosmo, if you're watching, you're awesome. Met him today, and the one thing, I always listen to the stories that people share, and pretty much 99% of the time they're all the same in so many words. And like for Cosmo, I think the end result was, I want to express myself. And I think that's the answer to a lot of people, because if you guys listened to me last week, I was talking about music, and everybody has music in them. Lots of times they don't have an opportunity to express it, or they feel they're not worthy, or I've always heard this, like, I'm not musical, which is not a truth, because I believe music comes from people. Actually, the question that came up, why this started the whole thing, is why I was teaching music. I was like, what am I teaching? And then the question came, where does music come from? And if you look at, let's see if I can pop this up here. I can't see, my eyes are getting old. My eyes are getting old, you guys. Let's see. 4 Principles of Music. And I believe I have this available. Carrie, if you can link this in the comments. If not, just ask for it. But it is available, but it's the 4 Principles of Music. And that first question up there, that's what I came up with. Where does music come from? And if you really think about it, it comes from people. It comes from you. Everybody has their own music. If you read the book Christine Stevens that was at the bottom of that page, they talk a little bit about it, that your cells actually vibrate. Mm-hmm. This is the craziest thing I heard, because if your cells vibrate, or they have a frequency, what does that mean? In music, is it singing? Mm-hmm. And they said that you can either harmonize with your cells or heal them, or you could be at dis-ease, or not harmonize, or dissonance.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Dissonance or disease, if you get it, right? So does Does sound have a healing quality on that question? So I'm like, yes, I believe it does. If you can learn how to harmonize with yourself, which is pretty awesome. So I'm excited, and what the 4 principles shares with you are these things on how you can incorporate it in your life. Right now, like, I turned 50 and I'm kind of like going through a midlife crisis. I think you
absolutely got to do it, man.
But honestly,
part of the gig.
Actually, I was talking to Cosmo the other day. I go, if this is a midlife crisis, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
Because like now I have music and I'm hanging out with Dave and contemplating life, and it's really good because I'm kind of finding out more about myself, and that's where I believe everybody that's watching, or if you're listening to this, that's where they want to be. And in learning the handpan, you're not learning the handpan, you're honestly learning about yourself. It's kind of crazy. It's like, wow, this is awesome. And I think for a lot of people, everyone I talk to, we have these same conversations, and they're just, they're all for it. And I believe that there is awakening. There's a vibration out there that people want. Scientific America, if you want to look up this article, it's kind of crazy. The article was, hippies were right, vibration, it's all about vibrations. And what they said in there was everything vibrates. Everything. This pan vibrates obviously, but like this table, everything vibrates. And the craziest thing that I heard, or what they said, was if you put 2 vibrating anything that vibrates together in a room, over time they will sync up. It's so crazy. I just go, whoa. If you think about that, you leave yourself everywhere by your vibration. You know what I mean? And it could be good or bad. So by learning music and learning yourself, you can heal yourself and also help others at the same time, which is an amazing thing. I love it. I love sharing music with everybody, so it's really cool. Yeah, so it's going to be a 4. We're going to be doing this, and why it's me and Dave is because Dave was musically trained. I am not.
Yep.
And you have 2 different ways of thinking about music, and we're putting it together for you guys so we can like combine it, because I believe it's a good combination of practical exercises that you guys can do on the handpan to help yourself, and then just go from there. And it all starts with the 4 principles. And the first principle we're going to go over 4. There's going to be 4 of these. Today we're going to talk about rhythm, which is pretty awesome. And actually, it's funny if you guys are still doing the 1, 2,
That's right.
3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right now, what you're doing is getting in tune with your rhythm. It's actually, I believe, it's like everybody's heartbeats at the different rate, or kinda, you know what I mean? It just has that, you have like a resting rhythm, and everybody needs to find that. And what I found is for me, when I started playing ukulele and then also handpan, I would borrow rhythms. Playing with Dave, like I just try to keep up, and then like I borrowed his rhythm and I go, oh, okay, so that's a good practice. And then pretty soon you're starting to rhythm at your own pace. And then what I find when we're all together, like we used to have big groups of people and we start rhythming, like people will be in their own rhythms, but they're all in sync, which was super cool. I was like, yeah, this is good. It's super fun. So the first thing that you guys got is that practical 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. If you close your eyes and just listen to that. 1, 2, 3, 4. And just focus. Don't forget to breathe and just keep on going. Dave, you want to come with me? Dun, dun. So everybody get on it. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Left, right. And then pretty soon, this one's fun. We can speed it up. Here we go. Keep on going. Don't forget to breathe. Deep breath. Let it out. How did that feel?
It felt awesome.
Is that awesome?
Yeah, it felt awesome.
I was like, it was awesome. And just doing that, it just kind of gets you in the mode and it makes you feel good. If you are not smiling right now by doing that, then I don't know what's
wrong. So Daniel was telling me he wanted to do this exercise earlier today, and I hadn't actually done it with him until just now.
Wow.
And playing along was a lot of fun for me, and I did experience, as soon as I closed my eyes, of course, when you're playing repetitive patterns, especially, if you kind of close your eyes and you just listen and you just allow yourself to feel it.
Yes.
I all of a sudden started feeling relaxed. It's hilarious, as you intellectualize this stuff, you can kind of comprehend what's going on and you can think it through, but then experiencing it, sometimes you get the real experience. Right? So,
and yeah,
I like that.
No, I like that because see, coming from Dave, this is kind of like, I think when you're musically trained, you have all of it. There's rhythm, there's melody, there's harmony and silence in music, but put all together on why it's important for you, I don't think they really do it. They stick to music theory, which is not bad, but music theory should be in the next section, which is melody, which I should it's going to be the next thing. But on the rhythm side of it, the biggest thing is, and if you guys take a look at the sheet, you are rhythm. Think about this, okay? You are rhythm. You have a heartbeat. And it's funny, you can see people's rhythm if you just watch people sometimes. I like to sit down and watch people just walk, and you can see their rhythm. It's kind of crazy that way they walk and their rhythm that they are.
Breathing is a rhythm, heartbeat's a rhythm, walking is a rhythm.
Walking is a rhythm. Yeah. All that stuff is, but we never really feel it. There's some people that do, but most of the time we're just going through life, working, and following the life song rhythm, which is not really yours, right? And then you're following that, and you're going, God, this.
You're talking about like a societal rhythm.
The societal rhythm, which we're not jiving with. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times, like you go to work, and you're like, what am I doing here? You know, because all the stuff that you're like thinking, oh God, what is this? Because you're not in rhythm with what you're supposed to be doing. Your heartbeat, think about it. You have a rhythm, an automatic rhythm that never stops. You got to find that. And we're going so fast in life that we don't even listen to it. It's kind of crazy. Learn to get in tune with your body. When I first started playing ukulele, do you remember when you first stared drumming?
Oh well, yeah, way back.
Well, Dave goes he's a drummer,
yeah,
so he has a rhythm. When you start drumming?
When I was 10.
10. Oh my God. Yeah. No, that's so awesome.
I had my drum lessons.
Yeah. So how was there any moments where you just you had just a moment you were just wow, after all the practice, because I know there's a lot of practice involved, and then because usually when you get to a point and you're just oh wait, I think I'm kind of good, you know what I mean? I can do it. Well, it's I can do it. I can do it, and then everything changes at that moment.
Yeah.
You're whoa.
Yeah, I don't exactly remember when I was young. Any specific moment like that. I do remember something in high school. Okay. I was telling you about this earlier.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So in high school, I was in the drum line, with the drummers, snare drums, bass drums, and all that sort of thing. Completely different from handpan, by the way, right? You wouldn't expect a experience like this from a drum line. But the drum instructors had us just playing a repetitive pattern for 30 or 40 minutes straight. And no one was trying to have us meditate. No one was trying to have us have a spiritual experience, anything like that. They were just really trying to get us to focus as a group. And so they had us doing this thing called 8 on a hand, which is basically 8 hits on each hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Over and over and over again. Kind of like what you were just doing just now.
Yeah. Just
right? And instead of going back and forth, it was just 8 on this one, and then 8 on this one, and then back again, like that, just over and over again, right? And so we were doing this as a whole unit, all 10 of us or whatever it was. Boom, 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 right?
Yeah.
But they also had us focus just on a single spot on the wall. So as we were playing, we would just have to focus on a little spot on the wall. And after a while, probably after 20 minutes, I remember things started to kind of drift around a little bit. In my peripheral vision, it just kind of got really drifty. And I was looking at that one little spot, and everything else just kind of got fuzzy a little bit. But time started to flow in a different way,
Oh my
right?
God.
Because after you do it for a while, you kind of lose track of the rhythm of time.
Yes.
Right?
No, because you're at your own rhythm. I get
Yeah,
it. No,
and-
actually, no. You know what you are? You are with time.
Yeah, you're just kind of
'Cause
flowing with it.
your
right?
rhythm is basically eternal, but it's the eternal
Yeah.
rhythm of life. Okay.
Yeah, so anyway, it was just really fascinating experience that I remember when I was maybe 15 or 16 years old. And again, like I said, I wasn't intending to have a spiritual experience. I wasn't intending to have a meditative experience or anything like that. It just happened. It was very natural, and but I remember it vividly. It's a powerful experience.
That's amazing. Well, like one of the things, it's kind of funny, like, turning 50, reminiscing and stuff like that, and like, actually, I had a thought, like, what would I tell people, like, living for 50 years? I don't know. Think about that question. Like, what would you tell? What would be your life advice? To your kids, to anybody that even ask. And like, I think right now at this time, because it's changed over time, but right now at this moment, I would say find your song and live life like music. And it's kind of funny. We were talking about this the other day, and Dave is like, I believe, an epitome of living life like music.
Oh, wow.
No, seriously. Like, he's talking about it right now. Basically, his experience at 15, 16 is basically like he found his rhythm. That's basically what it was. And like, he didn't know it. And I think a lot of people go through it and they don't understand what's happening. You know what I mean? And then to have the 4 principles explain it, it just gives you a peace of mind. Also, it gives you something to work on. You're like, oh, you know what? I can improve this rhythm. Just by putting a name to it. And you're going, yeah, I'm just getting in tune with my body. I always talk about this as like being kung fu. Like, if you ever watch kung fu movies, when I was younger, I used to watch kung fu all the time. Like Kung Fu the show, Kung Fu, there's like all these. Yeah. But the whole basis was, what I loved about it is like being superhuman by doing something over a repetitive motion. Like right now, when I actually play the handpan, people look at me and they're like, "Are you touching it?"
Mm-hmm, yeah.
They go, "Are you touching?" I go, "Yes, I am."
Yeah.
And it's just so fluid because I've done it a million times. A lot of people say like, "Oh, you're so talented." I believe Dave is super talented. When did you start playing? 10.
Yeah.
10.
10.
So yeah, it's 10 till however long, and that's. You can't, like, if you're doing that all the time, and I could probably say Dave has probably played music every single day for life.
Maybe, yeah.
If you probably think about it,
That's a good
the
point.
whole life.
Yeah.
And not, like, right now, like, my motto for ukulele is what, every day keep on strumming ukulele.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more than that. It's not the ukulele. I'm really saying music.
Yeah.
So if you could play music every day, you could have a life like Dave. So it's gonna be, watch this shirt coming out. If you guys want it, I'm gonna have it. It's gonna be live life like music. Or wait, no. Find your song and live life like Dave. It's gonna be awesome. But I love that story, Dave, because that's, I think, what it's all about. We get to that point where it's just like, wow. And your rhythms, like lately, like I never thought I would be like a drummer. I always thought it was cool. I know a lot of people. If you're like one of those people like listening to the radio on the car and this is your fingers on the steering wheel. I've driven with Dave.
Oh yeah,
and
constantly.
he makes like the coolest beats.
I'm
like,
constantly
I go, Dave,
drumming.
that was a good beat.
Yep.
But his rhythm is constantly going because he's in touch with it. And then what happens is when you start feeling your rhythm, then you start feeling the rhythms around you. And that's where we'll get into the other concepts, that we have. First we have rhythm, we have melody, we have harmony and silence. And I want to read something from the book because this is what Christine Stevens says. You got something?
Yeah, just while you're looking that up.
Okay.
One thing too, I believe when we touch on these points, was it rhythm, melody, harmony, and silence, the 4 principles of music. To some degree, you do need to like figure out how to touch the instrument and kind of get a good sound out of it, and then you kind of approach this a little bit more effectively. You could still do this without really getting the perfect touch, of course. But this is like a guidebook of like basically how to just move ahead with music without feeling like you're doing it the wrong way or having to do it the right way. it's the way. It's just like a way that's a very comfortable way.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Because like, actually, I'm gonna use you, Cosmo. But Cosmo was in here the other day, and he's all, "Well, can I play with my thumb or my finger?" And I go, "It doesn't really matter. I'm gonna teach you how to play with all fingers. You're gonna play with the one that's most comfortable, obviously." And he goes, "Can I use my thumb?" You can absolutely use your thumb. Yeah, and honestly, what's gonna happen is, and this is what I find with everybody in the handpan, is everybody has a different sound. Everybody.
Oh yeah.
Like you can tell. Like it's so crazy. And like I think there's a misconception on how music should be, because what we hear on the radio, they're great songs and stuff like that, but as a band, like that band playing, that's not their true sound if you don't hear them live, because that's it's done in post, you know what I mean? They recreate it. So if you hear a really live band, that's why live music is so powerful, is because you hear the true sound of that actual person, which is awesome, which I love, and that's what I love about the handpan. And Cosmo said it, expressing yourself. You have some music that you want to express. The instrument is just that. I'm not teaching you handpan. I'm teaching you how to get the music out of you. That's basically it, through the handpan.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So this one, woo! Here's one. This is from the book Music Medicine, Christine Stevens. Love you. Thank you for your wisdom. But I would highly suggest, if you guys are into music, get that book and read it. I think it's $9.99 on Amazon Books. I have it on my phone right now. But this is one of the things. Our heartbeat is a rhythm track pulsating through our veins. Our voice is the melody that resonates as we speak. Our health is the harmony of our body and mind. Our breath is the silence that allows our bodies to rest. So all these things in music relate to your life. And by going through the 4 principles, it'll help you before you can, I think, do things in life. You have to be good with yourself. I think find your music. Right now, I've asked this question a lot, even to myself. And if you haven't found your music, and we all dance to the music, the life, we're all dancing to a song, right, of life. If you haven't found your music, whose song are you dancing to? It's kind of crazy. I watch Dave, he dances to a song all the time. And it's fun. I love hanging out with him.
By myself.
No, he doesn't. You know what? If you ever get a chance to hang out with Dave, and people that are listening that know Dave, you just know. Because, I've been on trips with him and stuff like that, and it's just amazing how fun it is. And he is. It's just like music. He's like, wow, I think once you become aware of music, you see the beauty, you see everybody's song.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see everybody's song, and you see the beauty of it. You can feel that vibration, and you're just like, yeah, let's go do that. That sounds cool. And you just vibe with it. You know what I mean? You have it. You have that feel. Dave's been a teacher for however long. He's been tuning. So he has a combination of all those things, and he does it unconsciously. Living life like Dave. That's what that's what I like. So going back to the rhythm. Principles, 4 principles you do that. Hopefully you guys like this. Definitely comment, and I want to. This is honestly a work in progress, because one of the things for handpan, as we're talking over the last couple of years, because the big thing is, it's a great instrument, but if you can't learn how to play, then it's just gonna be like your piano at home that sits there all dusty with a broken note on it, and nobody plays it. Okay, it's a tragedy. But in handpan here, you can sit here and just make beautiful music and also tune yourself at the same time. I think is a good thing. Yeah.
It's interesting, because when we teach our beginning handpan classes here at DII, a lot of what we start with is just the very basics, like we were talking about before. I usually have people do 4 on each hand, 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're just getting to know that rhythm, and then I'll spread it out sometimes to get to play the side notes. But still, you're just doing a basic rhythm and just getting to know it. interesting thing is that when you work with yourself, obviously, you're always trying to like figure out how to get better. Like you always want to get better, right? The funny thing is, like when you're playing for an audience, this kind of goes back again to Thursday night. I wasn't playing anything fancy. We were just playing some of the basics, but the people that had never heard it before, that was the first time experiencing it. So the basic elements were perfect.
Yes.
Right? They were exactly what they needed at that time.
Yeah.
And so when we're talking about tuning yourself to the handpan and that sort of thing, and just making it like an experience for yourself, don't be afraid to take it back to the basics. I think the basics are some of the most elemental things that we have. And as far as rhythm, you just play those simple rhythms like we were talking about going back and forth, but you could even play the basic scale over and over again. So you're playing a scale, yes, and it's got a melody to it and everything, right? But essentially, you're just like concentrating on that rhythm.
Yes.
Bum, 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 bum. For instance, if my hands were just touching my knee, I would just be slapping back and forth, right?
Watch this.
So it's just a simple rhythm.
Do the melody.
Okay. Right. So he's just essentially playing the same rhythm, but on one note. I'm spreading that rhythm out over onto multiple notes. So you could do it on one note, you could do it on two notes, you can do it on multiple notes, but either way, you're just kind of tuning yourself to that rhythm.
One of the things that I'm going to say is breathe.
Yeah, breathing during rhythmic exercise is really important.
And we kind of don't we don't breathe. Like actually Cosmo was down. I was like, breathe.
Yeah.
Because like we'd take like short breaths. Like that, but you have to breathe in. Feel that whole thing. Wait. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh God, that's good. Yeah, if you can focus and what that does is that's all you're focusing on. And what happens is what's cool about the handpan is you're getting that vibration and you're also opening yourself up, because one of the things that you can do this all day, but if you're not open to the sound or you're not listening to the sound, you're not going to get the healing vibration. So you're going to have to, what is I going to say, clear your mind? I know there's a lot of stuff we got. I don't even want to name it. You know, you have all these things that are happening in the world right now that we are on our mind, and we're trying to clear it. So first of all, get yourself into mode. Don't think about anything. And that's probably like the hardest thing to do, is just to be in the moment and listening to the sound. So a lot of times what I do, I close my eyes and you just focus on your breath. That's all right. It's like chewing gum and rubbing your stomach at the same time. But that's all you can focus on. You're not thinking about anything else.
Yeah.
And now you have the sound opening, getting into your cells and vibrating your cells and giving you the healing that you need. And then you're just in the moment. And I think that's the perfect moment. I've had these moments several times. I teach everybody. Last week I showed my practice. That's the first part of my practice that I just did. Didn't that sound like a song? Just like you were saying. That was my basics. That was all my basics that I've practiced over time. I don't do it like that, but I do each individual one a period of time. And if you notice, I did single notes, double notes, and then triples. It's like a song. It's like super crazy, and that's your practice. So my challenge to everybody out there is I want to see your practice and see if you can play that song, because everybody has music and you have your song. And that's, I believe, in the end, the goal is to find your song. That's the whole thing about music. That's, in my belief, and it's the most beautiful thing. If you heard people that like actually found their voice, you're a teacher, right? Like, Yeah,
I have been, yeah.
Yeah, you see people when they get it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just comes out. How awesome is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting actually. Speaking of teachers, I think there's multiple kinds of teachers, but let's just narrow it down to two kinds of teachers. There's the one that teaches basics, like basic pedagogy in the musical terms, which means like the very specific things that you need to do.
These words, say it again.
Pedagogy.
Pedagogy.
Yes.
Word for today. How do you spell it? I don't know.
P-E-D-I-G-O-G-Y.
Carrie, spell it for us, please.
Anyway, but it's like the basic elements of learning a musical instrument, and it's usually very specific, like page 1, page 2, page 3, play this, play that, here's a scale, that's a rhythm, whatever, that sort of thing. And then I was thinking about it just actually as we were talking, and I realized there's a different kind of teacher that professionals go to. Like there's the professional teacher. They're not going to be teaching you the basics anymore. Mm-hmm. They're going to be taking, kind of like you said, that everybody has their own sound and their own rhythm.
Yeah.
Really, it's true. Like think about it. Like if you're in a professional orchestra, each one of those members in the violin section, they're all playing the violin.
Yep.
But they all, if they played individually, they would also like sound slightly different, and they would have their own fortes. They would have their own good things, their own bad things, and it ultimately comes down to their personality and then who they are, right?
Yep.
And so I was thinking, like at that point, you would probably have a teacher that's not teaching you the basics anymore. They're teaching you to figure out how to pull out the music out of you, right?
That's so
more naturally, perhaps.
Yes.
And maybe help you get over the hurdles of everybody in all of our brains. We always have the I'm doing it right or I'm doing it wrong, that little voice, right? Oh, I'm doing it wrong, or I need to do this better, or something like that. The what do you call it? The critical mind?
The critical mind, yeah.
And so I'm just assuming that there's probably some of these really, really good teachers out there who have figured out, basically they're almost like psychologists.
Yeah. Well, I think after a while that's what it is.
Yeah. So, because you don't have to teach them the basics anymore. They already know how to play their scales. They already know how to play all this. But how do you create better music? And so, again, going back to this 4 principles of music, it's not teaching the pedagogy. It's not teaching you the specifics of play this note, play that note. It's saying play rhythmically. Like, what does that mean, right?
Yeah.
So we're talking about rhythm today. So you can just narrow it down to this kind of this gray, nebulous thing called rhythm. But once you figure out what it is for yourself, right? Or figure out what's natural, or you can just kind of focus on that idea, right? Instead of focusing on like which note you're playing, or did you hit it right, or did you hit it wrong?
Like, did I do it at the right amount of speed, or I talk to some music guys and stuff, like they're all like in my ukulele class, because it's more like a jam class. Cause I'm doing the same thing. I'm just pulling the music out of people, and like in ukulele they teach like. The strum patterns. I don't teach drum patterns because like I believe everybody has their natural rhythm. Yeah. So like when you teach drum patterns, it's just like everybody's like that, and I just go, no, you have these cool, like when I hear guitarists and they have those little cool nuances. Like you're just like, whoa, how do they do that?
How do they do it? Yeah.
And it's their natural way of playing, and you'll see that even with guitar players, they all have their different things, but they're awesome, and they still. And the thing I think they go back to is the basics. The basics, like there's a bass thing, and then they know how to space the note, which is called silence, and how to fit a ton of stuff in that silence. It's like so crazy. It's like, wow. And once you find your rhythm, you'll understand. You'll be like, wow, time slows down, and you're like, whoa, I can do all this within this, and then you're just like, wow, now you're in a whole nother, I think, field. And you can feel it in people. You can tell when people play with their music versus like trying to play somebody else's music, because they sound like ding 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 ding. And then there's the ones that just like they're all over the place. You can see in their like when you get to this certain point, and then they have that silence, and then just their whole energy explodes because they're in the actual song, and you could see it. You're just like, wow, that's how I want to play. And that's what we're showing you today, because in the process of tuning yourself and practicing, it's funny because all you have to do is practice. And that's healing in itself. You know what I mean? And just doing that a million times. Actually, the first experience I had, and I share this with everybody, is just by doing the scale like Dave was saying. I I was practicing with all my fingers, I would just switch fingers, and then I would do 2. And just keep doing those, and it was kind of funny because you're just in a whole nother world. After a certain time, if you're focusing, you're just playing.
Yeah.
There's nothing else. You're just playing. I would play with my eyes closed, and that's an absolute experience because it's weird. You can hear, like, you can with your eyes closed, I can see my finger hitting the pan, and then I can see the indentation that my finger makes in the pan, and then the expansion, like when it comes out, and the sound. You know what I mean?
Nice, yeah.
And I can hear it all, and I can feel my finger like press into it. And it sounds weird because this is metal. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like after a while, I can feel it, and then it's almost like you can almost control that. Like after a while, like when you get really good.
Oh no, it absolutely bends. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see it.
Yeah, and then I think once you get Kung Fu, that's why it looks like I'm not hitting it, because actually, what is my 8-year-old Kieran said, we don't really touch things because we're made out of atoms, but...
Oh, right.
Just in doing this, sometimes I feel like I'm not even hitting it once you're going so fast. It's just the force of the energy, and it's connecting between. You're not even touching it. And it's like, you're like, whoa, am I touching? Like, you're like, whoa, it's really cool. So that's where the practice is for the rhythm, and then in that practice, that's where you attune yourself and get in tune. I think there's a couple things that you have to focus on. One is be open to the sound healing. You could do a scale and say, I did it. You know what I mean? Or you can play the scale. And in music, I went kind of fast, but that's the hardest thing to do.
Well, no, what you just did there, you just performed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
rather than just playing it.
Exactly.
You put intention to it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you know, I must say, when you just played it like bloop, it sounded to me like you were just bloop, right?
Yeah.
But then when you performed it or you put more intention to it, I was actually more captivated. I was even drawn in, you know, right?
Yeah, and that's honestly because that's the power of silence.
Yeah.
Because that draws you in. There's like a hole, and you're going, whoa. It's like you're Alice in Wonderland, you're going down that hole, see what's at the bottom, and you'll be surprised. You'll be really surprised, just like Alice in Wonderland.
You know, speaking of, you were talking about practicing, right? So practice is also, I would consider, part of the rhythm of music, because it's kind of like a schedule. Like if you want to schedule a time each day, there's going to be a rhythm daily, right? Daily practice. And that daily practice, or whatever kind of practice schedule you put yourself on, is part of the rhythm, and it's going to help you just in a larger way figure out your rhythm and how to connect with the instrument.
A lot of times, like like they say this in life. Like I've read a lot of books on like how to help yourself and stuff like that. But a lot of times, how you start your day is how your day will turn out. Just imagine. You wake up and you wake up to this. How would your day be? I don't know. I like just doing that just once. Yeah. All you have to do is just do it once. Yeah. And then maybe do it later, and then do it again. Or you can do it. It's funny. I always say my 15 minutes a day is that's the practice that we've come up with, like for anything, handpan, ukulele, whatever. 15 minutes a day, 15 minutes in the morning while you're having your cup of coffee. If you work early, I know it's kind of tough, maybe come back in the afternoon and do it then. Who knows? But whatever, just do it every day, and it's just it's already a part of you. It's like breathing. Music is already a part of you. Now you're just enhancing that skill that you already have. It's kind of crazy. And like what I found is when you're musical, you're way more in touch with your body. Like when I started playing ukulele, my left hand, I could not my pinky, and now I look at my finger and I'm like, hey, what's going on? You know what I mean? Because I know that finger. You know what I mean? And I'm just going, yeah, I think that's
interesting. I've never thought of it, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like before you were just kind of like, you just had it. You never really used it a lot.
You experience your body in a different way.
No, absolutely. Now you're thinking about breathing. Like as you go more deeper into it, you're like, why couldn't I make that connection? Actually, like when I'm singing songs, before I didn't have enough breath, like at certain points. Now I could just, it's weird. Like I've exercised that breath. And now it's like my song is getting louder and louder. It's so crazy. I'm just like, what? I just go, wow, it's awesome. So, and it's all comes from this. I found this and I go, dude, this is what we've been doing. If we can put this together and share it with people and then explain, it just makes more sense. Like rhythm is practice. People wonder like, why do we need to practice? Because you need to get in touch with your body. You haven't been. It's just, there's no other way you can do it. And people are like trying to find, I want a shortcut. What can I do? Nothing. You got to practice. You have to get in touch with your body. The quicker you do that, how you do it is up to you.
Yeah.
You can do it slow, you can do it fast, whatever. But
do it at the beach.
Yeah, you can do it whatever, but just get in touch with your body. And rhythm to me, in a music sense, is like practicing every day, and then just getting in touch with your rhythm. That's the first thing. So
yeah.
Good stuff.
Cool. Well, that's rhythm. So, what's the plan for the next couple episodes? Are we gonna? Which one's next?
The next one is gonna be melody.
Melody. Okay.
And then then after that is harmony, and the next one after that is silence. And I'll read that again. Actually, this goes so funny. Our heartbeat is the rhythm track pulsating through our veins. Okay. So right now you're getting in touch with your. Our voice is the melody and resonates as we speak. So melody is your song that you're trying to express. And we'll talk a little bit about that. It's pretty awesome. And then our health is the harmony of body and mind. So harmony, we're going to be talking about that, how harmonies work together, playing with each other. Actually, there's two things you can play with for yourself, or you can harmonize. And it's you do both basically, and one is for yourself, for self-healing, and the other one is for we healing, harmony healing. And we'll definitely get into that, which is awesome. And then your breath of silence allows our breath of silence allows our bodies to rest, and this is huge. If you think about life right now, man,
Fast.
we cannot hear the silence. Wow. Just one song.
Yeah.
We're not hearing the beauty of that sound. Let it rest. What do we do next? The note will tell you. Usually this is kind of crazy. Like I've been like throughout my life and trying to plan things, I have these goals and all that other stuff. But being musical, it's not about being lazy. It's about feeling what you should be doing. What was my point? I had this. It was kind of crazy. But like as we go through life, we don't hear what we're supposed to be doing because we're not silent enough. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people
and
meditate.
This, like in music, say we were jamming. Like we do this all the time when Dave and me are playing because we don't practice. When we play together, we don't practice together. We just harmonize.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious because as I'm playing, I'm listening to Dave, and I'm like, what am I gonna do next? And actually, by listening to Dave, I know what to do next.
Yeah, after a while, you get it. Yeah,
you know what you know what you need to do.
Yeah,
just by being musical. You understand? And like the question, like the funny thing is in life, that's always the question: what's next? What's next? Instead, we should just listen to life, and it'll tell you. And by being musical or listening to your rhythm, let's live it. Wow. Wow, that's awesome. I like it. So hopefully that helps you guys. Tune yourself to the handpan because I believe this is a great instrument. All our customers out there have been driving this. Honestly,
no, it's amazing. Like when pretty much every week, like this week you're talking about Cosmo, but pretty much every week he talks about a different customer, but in the same kind of way. And he talks about how the experience was awesome and how it was really fun working with them, and then talking about the ideas of the 4 principles of music, and It's really cool. Like pretty much every week you've got a different person, but like almost the same story.
It's amazing. It is amazing. It's like and what I'm attributing to is just like all the strife. When you have like a lot of chaotic, there's always an opposite to it, and that's what's happening. Is everybody's like, man, you know what? I'm tired of all this stuff. Mm-hmm. I want to be calm with myself. I want to express myself. How can I do that? How can I put my vibration? Just by playing, like seriously, even if you're by yourself, you don't know who you're affecting. Like sometimes some of the stories I've heard is just someone was playing on the street and they were walking by and they heard the sound. They didn't stop to listen, they just heard it. But by that person playing, put that vibration into the air and changed that person's life forever because they found us afterwards. Yeah, you know what I mean? And then now it just goes into that. So just in that part of it is awesome. And then practicing to tune yourself to the handpan is what you're doing right now, is learning the handpan is by getting in touch with yourself. That's just the main goal. And bringing that music out of you. That's our goal, is to bring that music out of you. And thank God we have Dave to make these beautiful instruments for us. No, to actually do that. And, sometimes I think Dave doesn't realize how special that is. So and just by talking about this right now, this is how special it is, because I believe it can help a lot of people. So
yeah. Well, I just made a post the other day on Instagram. I think it was last night, and it really is amazing to be able to make these instruments, and then basically they go out into the community. People embrace the instrument, make it their own, and then it touches other people as well. So it's just this fascinating, amazing feeling that I get just knowing that it affects so many people in a positive way. So I really appreciate all of you out there that are enjoying the instruments that I build and that sort of thing, and that we make here at DII. So thank you so much for all of that. It really makes us all feel positive and really good about things. So anyway, I just want to show you. Can I show you one of the?
Yeah, absolutely. Go.
Okay, one of my favorite little things to play on a handpan. I don't know why. It's just these, probably these 4 notes. I can include one more. That's my favorite sound right there. I don't know why.
Oh wow.
So it's just D A D E. Yeah. So like frequently when I'm just hanging out, I'll just play like a combination of any of those notes right there. Those are some of my favorite notes to play. And if I want to add another one on top, it just has a super peaceful sound to it. Just very open, very just calming. So
I love it.
When I put myself in tune with the instrument, those are some of the first notes that I like to play. And sometimes I say to myself, Dave, you play those notes too much. You're always playing the same notes. But I like it. They just sound great. So.
Well, that's your music.
Yeah, exactly.
It's your actual music.
I'm just going for it.
Do we want to leave? We're going to leave you with Dave's favorite music.
Well,
and I'll just play on top.
Yeah, you play on top.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. All right. So practice those rhythms, you guys. Actually, I'm going to do this. This is going to be funny. I'm just going to play rhythm. It's going to be awesome. Ready?
Yeah.
You good? Hope you guys have a great Saturday. Hopefully you enjoyed. Stay tuned in the next couple of weeks for our next install, and we're going to be talking about melody. And I'm excited we can be here for you guys.
Yep.
And Dave's awesome. You're awesome. And here we go.
Okay.
Go for it. You're awesome. We'll see you guys in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'm excited.
Absolutely.
See you back here at DI. Come visit us.
Yep. See you soon.
Ooh, good job, man. That
Thanks,
was
man.
awesome, dude. Oh my god, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I learned so much.
Cool.
Oh my god, this is cool.
Yeah.
I think this is gonna be like, wow, dude. I love.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
I want to call it Christine.
You're like, hey, it's me again. It's Daniel.
Oh, this is Daniel. We had a great show. Actually, I wanted to tell him about Cosmo because he's like, do you understand what you did like 17 years ago?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's kind of crazy because then it came back. It doesn't matter how long.
Yeah.
But you planted that seed forever and it like grew to that and then, oh my god, that's so good. Good stuff, Dave. I love it. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome. So I don't want to like blow like music theorists out of the wire. I think it's like all that like teaching is good.
Oh yeah, no.